Welcome to another one. In this video, I'm going through what I think is the single most important history book that I think that you need to read also. That book is Endurance by Alfred Lansing. Okay, so I got up the Shackleton ship Endurance lost since 1915 is found in Antarctica. So, and this was in March of 2022. So very recent. Yeah, look at that. And this picture is in the book. And I'm staring at this picture literally like amazed that somebody took this picture. One of the guys that were stranded took this picture. Stuck in the ice, nothing to do. Leaves the ship to stretch his legs or something. And he looks back and just sees the ship that got him from Europe to Antarctica, and it's stuck in the ice. I can't imagine what they were thinking. Well, I know what they were thinking. I'm reading the book, more or less, but, you know, I'm staring at this as if I'm there and realizing, like, I'm screwed and might not make it out, you know? I mean, in 1915, you're thinking I'm not getting out. Let alone in 2025 when we have airplanes now and like full search and rescue capabilities, being stranded on a iceberg essentially. Survival is slim, let alone in the 1915. They don't even have airplanes, they just have ships. Wow. So I'm reading this. The wooden ship Endurance located 10,000 feet underwater. 10,000 feet underwater. Wow, look at that. Now, when they say this is intact, that's an understatement. This ship is in great quality. Holy, like, yeah, this was 106 years ago. So this is honestly probably about the same time the Titanic, right? When did the Titanic sink? 1912. So essentially, this is only, 3 years younger than the Titanic, and it looks way better. I mean, of course, a little rusted, but like the wood is there, there's no algae. Like, look at that. There's no way you were doing this or seeing this from the Titanic. Like, these guys are essentially just looking around the ship and can clearly verify this is Endurance. Only because, let's face it, not too many ships sank in Antarctica. And they even got a jellyfish. 2 jellyfish, really. But look how clean that is. Like, there's almost like no decay. There's a little bit of rust. But I'm amazed how, like, pure this is. Yeah, these are real images too. Of course, a lot of these images are in the book. Is there more images? Yeah, this one's in the book. Everybody's in this picture except for one. He's probably down in the engine room, they said in the book. Look at that. Look how clean that is. It honestly looks like the ship was power washed. Like, this ship was power washed before it sank, The guys are there on the ice. They're like, yo, it's going down. Might as well make it look good, Because, like, there's almost a identical picture to this with the Titanic. And there is so much growth. Just look at all the growth there. All the algae, all the, built up, whatever all that is, rust and calcium and junk from the ocean, right? And then look how clean that is. And they're the same age. This ship sank just 2 years prior, 2 or 3 years prior. And it's so clean. Then again, Titanic is in North Atlantic, and this is in Antarctica. Nobody's in Antarctica. The air is probably super clean and crisp. There's no pollution in the air or water. So that's why the ship is so clean. There's no pollution. It's all just natural and clean. I don't know how to describe it. So that definitely helped preserve it. Oh, okay, but they're documentaries. A few documentaries about Shackleton's 14 to 16 Antarctic expedition aboard Endurance, including the Endurance, which is a 2000. And there's a 2024 Endurance, which also covers the 2022 search for the shipwreck. So all those images you can see in this. I have to watch this movie. Once I'm done the book, I'm watching the movie. Sold. Guys, I know this one's going to be short, but I was so amazed by Endurance. It's unbelievable. It's such an incredible story. It was well written by Alfred Lansing. The author, maybe it was on the back here somewhere, or in the introduction, perhaps. I don't entirely remember. But he says that he had access to like all of the journals of members of Endurance. And that's where he got all the information and wrote the books. It was directly from the people on the ship. You actually hear about those journals in the book. Like they're very heavy in the book. And specifically, he actually quotes the journals, right? Like he'll talk about an event, say, oh, they left the ship and, whatever. They weren't able to get back on, so they were stuck on the iceberg. Character A has written in his journal, and then he would quote it. And then he would elaborate on that. He would take that bit of information and then develop the story. So he has, I don't know how many journals there were, but in multiple occasions, there were multiple quotes from different people, right? So you kind of got different point of views on the same day and with the same event. Like the first time that they found a group of penguins or seals to capture for food, right? And perhaps their first time getting food in a while. That's a pretty, monumental moment, a pretty pivotal moment in your survival. So pretty much everybody who had a journal wrote about that. He took that point of view from everybody, and maybe he only quoted one or two, but developed the whole story. He knew where everybody was sitting and where everybody was at the time. One journal might say, oh, I spotted the penguins. And then the other journal would say, oh, I was just sitting over here playing my banjo, and Bobby over there started yelling that he found some penguins, right? So that he was able to really construct and put the story together, and it made it so authentic. And honestly, yeah, just so authentic and so real. And it was kind of a little bit emotional, to be honest. Emotional, like in the fact of, I didn't necessarily, like I would with a really good fiction, where, it makes you laugh, it makes you cry, it makes you wonder, it makes you, everything, right? You get those feelings too, but it's real, right? So those feelings like hit you a little bit harder. What would I do in those shoes, right? What if I was stuck on an iceberg and just starving to death, and I have nothing but maybe a campfire and my banjo, right? Just to play. And I know they had a soccer ball and they would play soccer on the iceberg every now and again, but you're just starving to death, and then all of a sudden penguins come, or seals, or whatever it is, and you're just staring food in the face. It's right there in front of you. Now you have to work for it, right? And just the mental capacity that these people had, like Alfred Lansing really made you feel that, right? Made you feel like you were there with them, and you were happy for them when they got food for the first time, and not for the first time, it happened multiple times. This was over like a 2-year period or something that they were stranded and lost. And so multiple times they ran low on food, right? And you felt for them when they were low on food. And even when they started developing like frostbite, certain characters got frostbite, and, you know, not major spoilers, like they're stuck on an iceberg in Antarctica. It's kind of obvious somebody's getting frostbite, right? So no spoilers there. You know, they obviously started to develop that kind of emotional and mental sickness, if you will, right? And you felt that too, right? Like it made you really want the characters to do better. And so the whole book was such a wild journey, and it was so true and so heartwarming too. The ending was incredible. The ending, like, it makes me wonder, like, what if I was that person in the ending? That's all I'll say, is that person. But what if I was that person in the ending? Can't imagine. And then what if I was Shackleton, right? In the ending, like, oh man, the emotional trauma that the ending would have on literally everybody, not only the people that were lost, but the people that found them too. Oh my God. It's unbelievable. Guys, I can't recommend this book enough. If you don't read nonfiction, totally fine, but consider this, right? This is a part of history. This happened. I don't know why this isn't as well known as the Titanic. I don't know what else to say about this. It's an absolute incredible. It's not that much of a read. It's 350 pages. Depending how quick you can read. I read this in, I don't know, 2 weeks, and I brought it with me everywhere. You saw me in San Francisco. I went up north to Yellowknife and I had this. So I read this while I was on the road, and of course here at home, and I just couldn't put it down. I literally could not put it down. It's really incredible. I can't wait to watch the shows. And maybe I'll do a series, because there's a couple of books like on my TBR that I'm going to be reading very soon, or have read already, that have like adaptations. So I might do a series of book and adaptation, which one's better, which one's worse, and why, and just review those and do a whole series. Let me know if you want to see that, because I'm also interested. I think I'll do it anyways, but I'm very curious if you guys are interested in seeing that kind of book versus movie adaptation. Thank you guys so much for watching. And this was Endurance by Alfred Lansing. Incredible nonfiction read, and it is an absolute history book that you guys need to read. Thank you so much. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.